I was wrong to ever trust these people. It's like, and many Democrats are opening up to this acceptance that they were wrong, they were misguided, they were lied to. And it's all this bait and switch. And that's what the party's been. And that's what, and nobody in their right mind can continue to support that.
I've got a lot of friends who are Democrats, and they haven't asked me for advice, but if I did, I'd tell them, look, you just got to try harder not to suck. I mean, think about it. Over the past 4 years, the Democrats mismanaged Congress, they mismanaged COVID, they mismanaged the economy, they mismanaged inflation, they mismanaged the national debt, they mismanaged Afghanistan. More recently, in their opposition to President Trump and Mr. Musk, the Democrats have chosen to support the bureaucrats and the spending porn over the American taxpayer, just like they support illegal immigration over the rule of law, just like they support transgender athletes over women's sports, just like they support Hamas terrorists over Israel. All Democrats are not like this, but the party is controlled right now by people who majored in online activism with a minor in puberty blockers. I know these people. They think women, they think men can breastfeed. They're triggered by race. They cry if you use the wrong pronoun. And most fair-minded Americans look at this and they go, these people are about 10 exits past normal. And that's what's killing the Democrats right now.
Yeah, Democrats do suck, bro. Say the Democrats suck is an understatement, right? And I want to kind of talk about, the coverage of this. And I know people are starting to get tired of the DOGE, but apparently, and this is a bold move by Donald Trump and Elon Musk, that they saying that we can get a dividend, right? This is a joke, but pretty much this is a refund. Here's the breaking news. Trump and Musk are up to something big. So big, it got bureaucratic swamp breaking into a cold sweat. The plan? DOGE, not the meme coin, but a real taxpayer-first incentive to cut the fat from bloated government spending and return the savings to the people. That's right. Actual refund checks funded by slashing waste, not printing monopoly money like Biden did and causing inflation, by the way. End of the day, if government has to print money, think of it as you gaining inflation. That's the simplest way I can articulate why government spending is bad. And DOGE is creating a different incentive. The more waste, fraud, and abuse that DOGE finds, the bigger each American taxpayer will get a tax refund. Imagine that. People are always happy during tax season because they're getting some of their money back. Now you're going to get even more of your money back. According to a post by on X, this isn't some campaign pipe dream. Trump and Musk are seriously discussing it and giving Musk a session with efficiency and and Trump's love of winning. You can bet that the old DC guard is losing its collective mind. Breaking: President Trump and Elon are in talks about issuing a tax refund to all American taxpayers, calculated from the savings made by DOGE. This is huge. Democrats screech, bureaucracy panic. This is why I said the Democrats are the party of bureaucracy. Imagine that. Imagine telling the American taxpayer, hey, every time DOGE find wasteful spending, that's a tax refund that's going back in your pocket. That's more of your money returning back in your pocket. 2026 looking like it might be a bloodbath for the Democrats yet again. This is what I'm talking about. The Democrats don't offer any alternatives. All they got is screech and complain. All they do is complain. That's all the Democrats are doing. They complain. They don't offer no alternative solutions. They don't want to be part of the discussion. And it's no wonder they're losing right now. It's no wonder, no fair-minded person will say, yeah, the Democrats are in a good spot. They're not. They do all this fake virtual signaling, mask off moment. You find out Joe Biden pardoned his son. Democrats are benefiting from all this wasteful fraud and abuse with their slush funds, which has been a common theme in the Democratic Party since Obama, with Eric Holder providing money to their left-wing organizations and these left-wing activist groups. And you wonder why they vehemently defend these agencies, why they don't want no transparency in these agencies, because they appropriate these funds to these secretaries of these departments Then they go to these secretaries and say, hey, the money that we just sent you, yeah, send some over here. Send some for this project over there. Send some over here. And that seems like that's the game.
And this is what you get for it from the Democrats. You get, nobody voted for Elon. Well, nobody voted for any of your cabinet nominees. Okay. People are dying because of DOGE cuts. I'll give you a chance to respond to all that. What DOGE is doing is illegal. Elon Musk is more street vernacular for a male body part. It's a constitutional crisis.
Okay. Why are they reacting like this?
Well, first of all, do you give it flying rip? Or number one, and
well, I guess we must be over the target or doing something right. You know, if like they wouldn't be complaining so much if we weren't doing something useful. I think. What all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president. And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy. Speaking of unelected, there's a vast federal bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to the president and the cabinet. And you look at, say, D.C. voting, it's 92% Kamala. Okay, so we're 92% Kamala. That's a lot.
they don't like me here either.
I think about that number a lot. And like 92%. That's basically almost everyone.
Yeah.
And so, but how can you, if the will of the president is not implemented, and the president is representative of the people, that means the will of the people is not being implemented. And that means we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. And so I think what we're seeing here is the thrashing of the bureaucracy as we try to restore democracy and the will of the people.
I understand that even a temporary interruption in federal employment is a great crisis and catastrophe for you and for CNN. What the American people see is a government that is finally delivering a promise of accountability under President Trump. You want to have a conversation about transparency. Let me ask you a question. Do you have any idea where the $22 billion that the Department of Health and Human Services provided to illegal aliens under Joe Biden is right now? $22 billion with a B. That's enough to provide a free house to every homeless veteran in America. Where's the $22 billion? I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. Joe Biden just spent it, and now it's gone. Transparency begins with having an accounting of where every federal dollar is spent. And God bless President Trump for leading this effort.
This is why I said threat to democracy is really Democrats crying about a threat to their bureaucracy, because they benefited from the bureaucracy. As you saw from the clips, you saw that like in D.C., 92% of people in D.C. voted for Kamala Harris. That's the most bureaucratic state in the nation. They all 92% of them voted for Kamala Harris. That means 92%. That means Kamala Harris would have defended their interests. Kamala Harris wouldn't have done all this stuff that Donald Trump is doing. But Kamala Harris had the goal to say that she's somehow the change candidate because she happens to be different from what we used to as a president. Make it make sense. People wasn't even sure if she was black. She's not black, by the way. She's biracial. Biracial isn't black. 100 isn't 50. Like, these people, right? Here's Donald Trump. He signed 3 executive orders. He's lowering IVF costs. I know that's a lot of conservatives have different views about that. Imposing radical transparency on government agencies. That's why I want to establishing oversight to supervise independent agencies. Trump is the most transparent president in history. And that's not even an understatement. I've been saying this ever since I started doing content online. I've been saying that Donald Trump is the most transparent president ever because if he makes any mistake, you're going to hear about it from CNN. CNN, they cover him cover to cover, right? Looking forward to the cable panels being awash in apologies from Democratic pundits who claimed repeatedly that Trump would ban IVF. When Democrats get caught in the line, no accountability from the mainstream media. If Donald Trump says something even slightly inaccurate or Donald Trump makes statements or claims without any facts backing it up, Democrats, CNN, they're immediately ready to cover it. They're immediately ready to cast doubt on it. This is why I'm saying Trump is the most transparent president ever, because the media will if he makes a slip up, if he take a toe out of step, you'll hear about it. The numerous leakers in his world, people are leaking information about Donald Trump. No one leaked anything about Joe Biden, though. And that's the difference. In D.C., it's a hub for Democratic control and rule because Democratic Party is the party of bureaucracy. They're the party of gatekeepers. And this is why these CNN panelists, they're getting so hyped up and mad and they're so defensive because that's their side. 92% of people in Washington is on their side. So most of these workers that they're saying getting laid off, getting fired, they see it as, oh my God, a Democratic voter's losing power. We need them for our bureaucracy. That's how I interpret their little outrage here. Let's take a quick look at the panel.
The AP reporting that their employees that are being laid off are on probationary status, so it's easier to lay them off because they're still on probation. They include radar, landing, and navigational aid maintenance. But isn't there already a shortage at the FAA? Why do this now, especially considering what's happened in the States, and now, of course, you have this other incident and a few others?
Yeah, well, this one happened in Canada, but
yes.
I can only tell you what the Secretary of Transportation says. There are 45,000 employees at the FAA. We're talking about fewer than 400 people, and he says 0 air traffic controllers and critical safety personnel were let go. So if that's true, I don't really have a problem with it, to be honest with you. I do like the idea of keeping the people who are in the direct chain of command of safety and the air traffic control system and so on and so forth. But I have a hard time believing that there is a single government agency that doesn't have a bloat of administrative personnel that we could probably do without. And I think that's why a lot of voters are happy that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are finally going through the federal government and trying to take out some of this bureaucracy that we probably just don't need. So I'm reading to you what Sean Duffy says. He's the Secretary of the Transportation. I have no reason to doubt his numbers.
Yep, no reason to doubt. But they're doubting it. Our Democratic voters, our Democratic supporters, our Democratic insiders, right? And I think it'll be very, on brand to end the video with CNN. Because CNN, I don't know what's going on in CNN. They're taking a thrashing today. I've been seeing clips after clips of them getting just destroyed because, A, they don't want to bring attention to any of this stuff. And if they do bring attention to this stuff, they always take a negative angle. It's not a fair angle. Everyone sees it. I showed you in the first video. Stephen Miller was like, you're not acting like you're neutral on this topic. It sounds like you have a certain bias or proclivity to defend the federal government or defend illegals getting taxpayer money, which is fraud. But I digress. So let's see this back and forth between this CNN host and I only saw like maybe a minute in. This sparks will fly. Let's take a look.
Because again, it's not a question of whether waste should be rooted out of the government. So many people agree with that. But now we're seeing it's the way it's being done. The government is trying to claw back several employees who oversaw nuclear weapons after they were fired. They realized, oh, we made a mistake. We need staffers who oversee nuclear weapons. A professor at the University of Maryland, Don Kettle, who specializes in civil service, told the Washington Post that, yes, the government is likely full of wasteful bloat, but said a clumsy fix is worse than no fix at all, saying it's like going to a meat market, getting a piece of steak and trying to cut out the fat with a sledgehammer. That would only make a mess of the meat. Do you think, Congressman, that is a fair point, that the way this is being done is clumsy rather than methodical?
Again, you're upset about you're attacking the message carrier, not the results. You talk about nuclear secrets. You had a person who was in charge of nuclear secrets, a man who dressed up as a woman, would go into the airport and steal women's luggage, was overseeing those nuclear secrets under the Biden administration. And I never heard y'all say a peep about that. Again, man,
I don't know anything about that.
I try to warn you. 1 minute in, I was like, yeah, I gotta talk. I gotta react to this video on the video. This is hey, look. I don't know anything about that. It says the lady on CNN.
Administration, and I never heard y'all say a peep about that. Again, man,
I don't know anything about that. I'll be transparent.
Elon Musk, you need to look it up. It's all over the internet. It's all over. He was uncharged.
But the question is, this is unrelated to the people overseeing nuclear weapons being fired. And Elon Musk himself said, we're moving so fast, of course there will be mistakes. The question is, some of these mistakes are really high stakes. Accidentally firing people overseeing nuclear weapons. Do you see that point?
Humans will make mistakes, ma'am, but currently These are bloated programs. You have no-show employees.
And then also they're making it hard. Like it's hard to be methodical when you're not getting any cooperation from the agencies themselves. This is like, let's say the CEO of a company wants to go into a department and that department head does not want to work with that CEO to figure out where they can lay off some people or where they can make some cuts to save some money in the budget. That's effectively what the government is doing. The executive office, Donald Trump, his advisors, hey, I need you to go check out this department for bloat because we need to get some savings for the American people, aka our shareholders. The guy goes in, hey, I got permission from the executive I need access to this thing, and the department head doesn't want to give access. So what's he's gonna do? Okay, I guess we're gonna have to shoot in the dark here, and that's exactly what's happening. The government refusal to be cooperative with DOGE is also leading into their approach into just, okay, let's just start cutting stuff until we hit something. Trial and error. But Americans love it because we actually seen something getting done. And this doesn't make them look bad. I think the media is getting it wrong. They think this makes DOGE look bad. It doesn't. It looks like, oh, they're taking so much action that they're making mistakes. And people know, hey, you're not gonna bat 100 every time. And the left and Democrats and liberals and progressives, they're trying to paint this as, oh my God, like they never made mistakes in their life. And you learn from that. Oh, okay, let's change our approach. And the next time we do this operation of cutting waste and fraud and abuse, will be a lot more effective than the first time. I digress, though.
That are angry that they're having to go back to work, that they've moved, and they're not.
No
even
one's
in the
disagreeing. There's bloat and waste.
Jobs were.
No one's disagreeing.
Well, then why are y'all not exposing it? Have y'all even talked about, hey, Mozambique? We sent them $10 million for circumcisions. Okay. I mean, goodness gracious, ma'am. Americans are paying. We've been covering at length salaries.
Where the money is going to.
No, you haven't. All y'all do is run down Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and you continuously do this, and that's why your ratings are in the tank, ma'am. All right, Congressman Tim Burchett, we're going to leave it there. I do appreciate your time coming on and having this conversation. Thank you very much.
She said, you ain't going to disparage me in my face like that. Not here. She cut him off faster than a bullet, bro. I don't know what the Democrats are trying to defend here, man. I honestly don't know what they're trying to defend here, man. Everyone can see that this is not the path to go for the Democrats. Everyone.
Look, what I don't like about what's going on is I just view this as, well, let's watch the Democratic Party commit suicide. And like, I've been a Democrat most of my life. I kind of view myself as outside it, but I don't like watching the Democrats just commit suicide. And what I see is most of the country doesn't really, at this point, given the fraud, waste, and abuse we know is there, 90% of the country is like, get rid of that fraud, waste, and abuse. And I just view this as yet another example of the progressive left boxing themselves into a suicide dance. Now, what the progressive left should be doing is saying, okay, Elon, you're clearly the most qualified person in the world to do something like this. We want to dialogue with you about how you're doing and what are you doing. I don't believe that's actually what happened. And again, I probably...
And that would have been the smarter play. Okay, you guys got popularity, you guys got consensus. Okay, let's work with them. Let's guide them into something we believe is more appropriate for waste, fraud, and abuse. But y'all not even entertaining that conversation. Progressives completely just, oh, it's Elon. They try to dismiss it, like their usual tactics: dismiss you, discredit you, smear you. These are the tactics of progressives.
I like Elon. I know. I think he's obviously the most important builder in the world. And I just think, if you want to say my former side, I don't believe that they're actually engaging. I think it's like another dance where I'm supposed to say, of course, like whatever. It's like there's this one issue where and then you get boxed into you cannot solve the problem. And then I would say, what is the biggest problem in this society? Biggest problem in this society, from my perspective, is legitimacy of our institutions. Why aren't they legitimate? They're not legitimate because, okay, do any of you really believe that 99% of your taxpayer dollars are being spent? But last and not least, and probably arguably most importantly, there's two revolutions happening. One is transparency and one is AI. Okay, so why is it that we do not know where every penny of our money goes? Like, how do you explain that to people? And by the way, Slightly more technically, what large language models do is they mean you can go into the contracts and see exactly what happened. So in the past, we couldn't do this. Now we can. The right response is, we want this to happen. We want to happen. We want to be involved in the dialogue. The real response is, it feels like the people criticizing Elon don't want it to happen. And this is going to destroy those people.
I mean, we couldn't have said it better. The last minute, these people feel like they don't want this to happen. 92% of the DC establishment voted for Kamala Harris. Democrats are out there almost uniformly defending these institutions, right? Like the Department of Education, USAID. USAID especially, we found out they were funding a lot of these institutions, a lot of these NGOs that were aligned with the Democratic Party in some shape or form. And it's like exactly what he said. It's like these people don't want it to happen. And this is exposing Democrats in real time. Their fake virtual signaling was all a means to an end to enrich themselves and their comrades, if I want to use the socialist jargon here. And socialists and leftists are known for this. They're known for trying to get into these institutions of power and try to take control of it. And we're seeing that with the agencies. Look how they protect themselves. Look at how they have federal judges with obvious conflict of interest trying to defend them and blocking the president, trying to resist the president, what the people want the president to do. And they're dumbfounded and they're shocked that, oh my God, how can these people trust billionaires? Because the billionaires are the only ones with an incentive to actually cut down the government. You put anyone else in there and the blob is going to take them. Hey, look, we gonna spare you some change if you leave these agencies alone. Oh, okay. Well, how you can bribe a billionaire? You can't. These dudes got FU money. And in that political calculation, I think the Americans made the good call. They're like, yeah, you can't really buy him. Y'all already insulted him. Y'all hate him and he hate you. So he's going to be motivated to do what he said he was going to do. He's motivated to hurt you. And it just so happened to hurt you is to cut down the government, which is what Americans want. But Democrats, leftists, progressives, they can't think like this pragmatically. They can't think pragmatically because progressives are a group of people who think idealistically. And sometimes your ideals is not grounded in reality. It's more grounded in fantasy. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about the DOGE cuts? Do you think that the risk is worth the squeeze? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below and some of your reactions to some of the clips that I showed. Let me know what stood out to you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if you feel so inclined. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.